With Pokemon's ever-expanding roster of amazing designs, competitive monsters, and the coolest pets anyone could ever dream of, there's a lot of Pokemon that we as a fanbase often leave by the wayside. Whether they've been absent in recent generations, are overshadowed by other Pokemon, or even if they're just straight up forgettable, a lot of Pokemon have become, or maybe always were, undervalued. Today I thought we'd leave the Gengars, Garchomps, and Greninjas on the shelf and highlight some of the franchise's more underappreciated Pokemon. And to do this, I've brought along some friends, Shannon and Peter from DeliciousJames. They make some of the funniest Pokemon content I've seen in a long time, and you need to check out their channel after the video, because we have a collab on their channel as well. Be sure to go check it out. But for now, let's jump in. The water type has always been a vast sea full of Pokemon that struggle to stand out, and my first pick might as well be the poster child for underappreciated water types, Gorebyss. Just like its name implies, Gorebyss lives in the abyss of the fanbase's minds, as it was one of many water Pokemon introduced in the region that people literally describe as 7 out of 10 too much water. With so much competition in Gen 3, being a single-typed, late-game, branched trade evolution set Gorebyss up for failure in almost every way possible. Which is really unfortunate because this Pokemon is absolutely bonkers. Its dex entries tell two stories. Half of them painted as the very picture of elegance and beauty, so radiantly pink that it's described as almost blindingly vivid. Then the other half of its dex entries describe it as cruel, as it inserts its mouth into its prey, drains the body of its fluids, leaving the leftover meat, their wording, not mine, to sink to the sea floor as food for other Pokemon.
What? What the f-
How is this little pink eel that much of a menace? Hello? So it's not a little pink eel? It's nearly 6 feet long? Uh-huh. Thanks for calling. It's shit like this why people are terrified of the ocean. Plus, its body is so tough because of the water pressure under the ocean that it's described as being unharmed by ordinary attacks. So there's essentially 6-foot-long, indestructible, blood-sucking eels lurking at the bottom of Pokemon oceans, and we as fans just go, meh. I know this world is full of immensely dangerous monsters, but this is just insane. And I haven't even mentioned all the other cool things about Gorebyss. It has the 3rd highest special attack of any non-legendary in Gen 3, it has the same defense stat as Corviknight, and it gets both Shell Smash and Baton Pass. This thing is a beast. And if you still don't respect Gorebyss after knowing all of this, well, on the off chance you ever come face to face with one in a nightmare, I hope you can swim fast.
First on our list of underappreciated Pokemon is the evolution of arguably the most overappreciated Pokemon ever, Raichu.
Despite its bright electric typing, Raichu is doomed to forever live in the shadow of its younger self.
Just like a retired athlete.
Or any post-Unova Pokemon game.
Raichu is in fact so unliked that Ash goes out of his way to avoid evolving Pikachu for the entire 25-season run of the Pokemon anime.
And one time literally goes in the way to stop him from evolving.
Although I kind of get Ash's reservation, Pikachu is the face of a multi-billion-dollar company. Imagine being the older sibling of someone that big. It's like if Taylor Swift had a more talented yet less popular older sister.
Well, she does. We've just never heard of her.
Okay, sure, Shannon.
It's Cobbler Swift. It's like Taylor.
No, I got it. It was beautiful.
Speaking of relatives, Raichu also has a cool cousin that rides a surfboard. And actually, Pikachu is also known to enjoy surfing. But what? No surfboard for Raichu? When is it Raichu's turn to have some fun?
Would it kill Game Freak to strap a skateboard or something to this mouse? Could you imagine how fast his base 110 speed could get with the addition of wheels?
Keeping with stats, Raichu has decent attack and special attack in addition to its speed, which gives it potential as a sweeper. But even that job is done better by Pikachu after the introduction of the Light Ball, a held item that doubles Pikachu's attack and special attack.
Raichu just can't catch a break. Even after evolving, it stops learning any new moves through level up.
Well, you know how the saying goes, you can't teach an old mouse new tricks.
No, unless you jam CDs into its brain. Then you can teach it moves that Pikachu doesn't learn, like Hyper Beam, Focus Blast, and Thief.
Which is ironic, because Pikachu stole everything from Raichu.
If you thought Gorebyss was capable of some wild shit, then get ready for the next one. Beheeyem. When people think of threatening alien Pokemon, it's not surprising that their brains often go to Deoxys and not our extraterrestrial friend here. But just because Deoxys is the big bad alien, doesn't mean Beheeyem is a mid-sad alien.
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Its special attack is a staggering 125, putting it ahead of monsters like Iron Bundle, Shaman Sky, and, oh yeah, Arceus. And with its hidden ability Analytic, its low speed actually works to its advantage. In fact, it's the slowest analytic user, arguably making it the best analytic user. It also naturally learns a lot of mysterious and unique moves fitting to its nature, like Psychic Terrain, Power Split, and Wonder Room. Plus it could learn Steel Wing through TM51 in Gen 6 and 7 as a subtle nod to Area 51. All these factors are noteworthy and make Beheeyem worth remembering, but yet again, the crazy stuff comes in the Pokedex. Beheeyem has multiple entries talking about its different colored fingers and how it uses them to not only control its opponents, but rewrite their memories. Oh, so that's why it's underappreciated. It made us all forget about it. As if that wasn't enough, its entry in Ultra Sun is on another level. With its psychic powers, it rewrites its opponent's memories. You too may have already had your memories rewritten. As if that wasn't enough, its entry in Ultra Sun is on another level. With its psychic powers, it rewrites its opponent's memories. You too may have already had your memories rewritten. Whoa, deja vu. Beheeyem is the Pokemon equivalent of the Men in Black devices that wipe your memory. 1 second you see a weird looking stoplight and then, sorry, I forgot what I was gonna say. Hands down, my favorite dex entry for Beheeyem is in Sword. Whenever a Beheeyem visits a farm, a Dubwool mysteriously disappears. So, let's just take a moment of silence for all the abducted Dubwools out there. I guess the whole point of this is, you should appreciate Beheeyem, while you can still remember to.
Next up is my personal favorite Pokemon, Pyukumuku.
Why do you always like the kind of Pokemon that even my grandma would hesitate to call cute?
The same reason you don't mind mint-flavored orange juice, Peter. Bad taste.
Okay. But what is it about him that makes you think he deserves more love, Shannon?
Well, he's small, round, and squishy. That's optimal Pokemon design to me. But most importantly, it has a butthole for a mouth that a hand comes out of. Surprise!
It's the ultimate smell my finger Pokemon.
Or pull my finger. Like you grab it and it just yanks you inside.
That's how it feeds. It's nature's ultimate predator.
Honestly, any Pokemon that Game Freak goes out of their way to draw a butthole on needs more appreciation.
I just googled Pokemon with visible buttholes, and I think I might be on a government list now.
Well deserved. Pyukumuku was also just a really chill guy. It waves at you in Pokemon Snap as you drive by.
It could also shoot you a peace sign, OK sign, finger guns. It's a very affirming Pokemon. And with a base 5 speed, you could very easily adopt one.
Yeah, you don't even need a Pokeball. Just go grab it off the beach to catch it with your bare hands.
And then it catches me back with its bare hand.
Pyukumuku is also perfect for merch opportunities. Just think of all the possibilities. A stress ball that a little hand comes out of when you squeeze it, a backpack with anti-theft spikes, comfy slippers, non-regulation footballs, a tissue box holder.
Or better yet, a toilet paper dispenser. It's kind of fitting that you'd pull the toilet paper out from its butt mouth and then push it into your...
mouth?
Yes, mouth, sure.
One final case for Pyukumuku. Look how cute its Pokemon card is. He's just a sweet, woolly guy.
A woolly guy whose best move is Surprise Fist?
Don't look at that part.
Oh my god, Shannon. Its first move is Call for Family, and then it uses Surprise Fist. Step Pyuku, no!
No!
It's become clear that Peter and Shannon understood the assignment and that I'm picking things you should love through fear, Machiavellian style. And that kind of continues with my third pick, Shiinotic. With Gen 7's inevitable renaissance not coming for another few years, there's a lot of Pokemon from Alola that fans forget pretty easily, Shiinotic being one of them. Among the new grass types in Sun and Moon, this big mushroom faded into the background. Its stats aren't that impressive, its design isn't anything earth-shattering, and several mushroom Pokemon came before it, as well as after. But even with all that against it, Shiinotic is actually really interesting. Its typing of Grass Fairy is quite rare, with the Whimsicott line and Tapu Bulu being the only others to have it. It also has access to tools like Spore paired with Dream Eater, and Strength Sap, which I have to say is an extremely underrated move. It's also the only non-water type to get the ability Rain Dish, is probably the inspiration behind Balonlea, one of the coolest towns in the entire franchise, and is even a notable parallel to Parasect, as they're both grass-type mushroom Pokemon, evolve at level 24, and have a base stat total of 405. One of its dex entries even mentions their rivalry. Plus, just look at that face. Ooh, okay, maybe lost some points there. But just like my other two choices, it gets really good when you look at the Pokedex. Shiinotic lures its prey to sleep with its spores, but then they use their arms to drain their prey's vitality. Knowing that gives this face a whole new meaning. And its dex entry and shield is just a straight up warning. If you see a light deep in a forest at night, don't go near. Shiinotic will make you fall fast asleep. I know that's not as crazy as our titanium blood-sucking eel or the Dubwool abductor, but it's still pretty creepy. Especially because people are said to be confused by its strange lights, only to never find their way home again. Just wandering aimlessly forever because of a few lights. Actually, it seems like Shiinotic and Bahia might be good friends.
You know what? I think Jinx is underappreciated.
I think Jinx is appreciated exactly the right amount.
Okay, that's fair. How about Gumshoos? Because the early game rodent species are normally used as dedicated HM users, but Gumshoos was introduced in the generation where HM moves stopped being a thing, so it was made a loser and stayed a loser.
What a life. You can tell he's mad about it. Just look at his face.
Speaking of his face, let's talk about Gumshoos' appearance first. It's one of the few Pokemon with truly great facial hair. Get out of here, Probopass!
Not you. Its fur is also designed like an open trench coat. He's got nothing to hide.
An open trench coat. Definitely not a pervert.
Well, he's the only Pokemon brave enough to prove he's not three kids stacked on top of each other.
And look at that posture. Standing upright with his hands behind his back. This is a gentleman. This is a scholar. Contrasting with his face, Gumshoos proves that it's what's on the inside that counts.
We could Beauty and the Beast this guy. Just break whatever curse he's under and he turns into a handsome anime man.
Oh, and speaking of anime, Gumshoos is actually employed in the Sun and Moon TV series.
Oh, we love a Pokemon with a job.
Yeah, he works with Officer Jenny as a detective to solve crimes. So this is a Pokemon with a respectable moral compass. Gumshoos also feeds on Rattata and is often introduced in areas to take care of vermin problems. So he's literally cleaning up the streets.
I find you guilty of being delicious.
He says slurping down the last Rattata.
When I'm out of a job. I can't put food on the table, literally.
I want your biggest takeaway from this video to be that you should appreciate the more mundane Pokemon a little bit more. Well, actually, I want your biggest takeaway to be that Peter and Shannon from DeliciousJames are hilarious and that you should go watch their videos, but the second biggest takeaway should be the appreciation thing. I'm not saying Pokemon like this need to be your new favorites, but you also shouldn't discount them too quickly, because some of the Pokemon you overlook may just be the most interesting of them all, and some have buttholes for mouths. Thanks so much for watching. Be sure to check out my pals DeliciousJames, and be sure to subscribe to both of our channels. Otherwise, Gorobus will be in your nightmares. And as thanks for making it to the end of the video, here's a picture of my dog. Talk to y'all soon.